All right. Let's continue. It's a bit annoying, like the YouTube thing is like it doesn't work with a vertical monitor because I have the second monitor set up so I can look at that kind of stuff. But it's like my second monitor is vertical because, for coding and stuff. And just the way it's formatted doesn't really work with the YouTube Studio. It's kind of annoying. Anyway. Let's see, am I... Okay, yeah, my voice is coming through. Let's see. So I made a huge mistake yesterday. Huge mistake. I was talking about Western third-party characters I want to see in Smash, and I forgot a huge one. Probably the top one. Top 2, maybe top 3. Might be top 1. And that is the Tetramino from Tetris. I'm totally serious about that. Because Tetris, I mean, I've talked about Tetris a lot, but yeah, it's like Tetris is one of the most important games ever. And it's had a bit of representation in Smash. Like it is important to both like Nintendo, but also to gaming in general. Basically, created an entire genre, and it is still the best one in that genre. And it also helped, sell the Game Boy. And handheld games have become such a big part of Nintendo's whole thing. So Tetris deserves like more representation, even though it isn't actually like owned by Nintendo. A lot of people associate it with Nintendo, especially that original Game Boy version. So like the Game Boy version wasn't the first version of Tetris, but it was, I don't know. I think it was the first one to really go super mainstream. And it's kind of, for a lot of people, when you say Tetris, that's the version they imagine. So Tetris, important game, important to Nintendo, definitely deserves to be represented more in Smash. And it's had some representation. I think since Brawl, they've had like Tetris music, and that's good. But I think it deserves more. And I always thought like a stage would be obvious, just like a the Tetris board where you're dodging falling Tetris blocks. That seems really obvious. But you know what? Just make the Tetramino. Make it a character. Let's get silly. Like, we have Mr. Game & Watch and we have Rob. Like, we have non-humanoid creatures, and like we've had plenty of characters where they had to get a little creative to come up with a fighting game moveset. And I have seen plenty of examples of like fan-made examples of how the Tetramino could work. like basically just it transforms into the 7 different shapes. To do different attacks, and yeah, it definitely work. Yeah, I've been on a huge puzzle game kick lately, but like, I've also been thinking like it's funny that we call those puzzle games. I guess it made sense at the time because puzzle games as a genre weren't so established. So a game that required a bit more thinking than just like go right. It made sense to call that a puzzle game, but I feel like puzzle game is better, like that term better fits games like, I don't know, The Witness, and Baba Is You, and Professor Layton, even Myst. Those are like literally puzzle games. And then you've got this whole subgenre of like, you know, Tetris and its kind of the games it's inspired. And it's weird. It's kind of weird to call those like puzzle games. I feel like there could be a better term for them because it's like such a different type of game. But I guess that's the case. Like RPGs, you're usually not playing a role. Like depending on the kind of RPG. Like, I mean, that's the whole thing. But like, they're called role-playing games, but you're often not actually playing a role. So they're puzzle games. I guess they are kind of puzzles, but they're like action puzzles. I guess you call them, like, I usually distinguish by saying falling block puzzle games, but I feel like that's not perfect either. Because here's the thing, is like when I think puzzles, I think a problem that has a specific solution, like a specific intended solution. And that's not really what Tetris is. Tetris is like, you are solving problems. So when you get the right button... Okay, hi, I have a person here. I'm just rambling. Yeah, when you get the right button, it just flashes a different color. I actually found it earlier. It flashes a different color, it plays a fun sound. But I found it on, I think, the second stream. And then you'll see, like, over here, every room has this screen that tells you how many buttons you've clicked and how much time has passed. And it'll start flashing between white numbers and green numbers. And when it's green, that shows you, like, the time, like a freeze frame of when you found the button. So... yeah, you just find the button, and then you can just keep playing if you want. So, but you have a little screenshot of when you found it. I found it very, like, surprisingly early. I thought I was going to be playing for a while before I found it, but I got it on the second stream. It was very exciting. I still need to test all of the rooms, click all of the buttons, make sure everything works. And also, this isn't even the full game. I'm only at like 200,000 buttons in the game, so I'm just figured I would take a break from making the game and test it. Yeah, it tries to match the tempo of your clicking. I think it's, I'm gonna do more with the music. Right now it's pretty basic, but, and it does get a little repetitive as is, so I want to do some stuff to make it feel less repetitive, but it is a, I think it does add a lot to the game. I kind of added it on in impulse. It wasn't really in the original design, and then I kind of had this idea. I was like, I wonder if that would be interesting, and I think it kind of really makes you want to keep up your pace. Like, I want to keep clicking so the music doesn't stop. Yeah, I think a lot of game development is, in my opinion, a big part is like small details that just kind of make the game feel good. Because, like, I've played games that feel like I should like them, they should be fun, but like they just lack the small details to make them satisfying to play on a moment-to-moment basis. So that's kind of, I don't know, when I make games, I try to make them satisfying on like, moment-to-moment thing, so I probably to put, like, I try to, like, restrain myself, because it's easy to get too caught up early on and doing the little details and stuff, and then you don't actually make the game. But yeah. Did you find me, I'm curious, did you see this post on Twitter or Blue Sky? Or did you just, like, did you just subscribe to me? How did you find this stream? So I've been trying to figure out what the best way to, I guess, get people to know about this game is. It's definitely a really hard part of game development these days. I'm not sure, I don't know. I'm not sure how much these streams are, like, helping, but I'm having fun doing them, so. I mostly just, like, yap about whatever's on my mind. I was yapping about puzzle games today, so. I've been playing a bunch of, I don't know, I've been in a real puzzle game mood, so I've been playing a bunch of puzzle games before before this stream, I was playing Dr. Mario on the N64. That game is kind of brutal. Like, I thought I was pretty good at Dr. Mario, but I'd never played that version. That version just, for no reason, just decides to kick your butt. I played on normal. I was like, surely I can handle normal. How many are these in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's 5. I was like, surely I can handle normal, and then I could not handle normal, so I put it down to easy, and like even easy was still pretty rough. Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of, like, going through the Nintendo Classics catalog or whatever, and playing a bunch of random puzzle games on there. I feel like Dr. Mario is definitely I think the best one on there. Aside from Tetris. I think Tetris is still the untouched champion. What else did I play? Like, Kirby has like two games, but one of them is just Puyo Puyo. Or you might have 3. And there's like a bunch of Yoshi puzzle games for some reason. There's one that I don't think is on there. Well, no, there's a few. There's like Yoshi, and then there's Yoshi's Cookie. What else? There's Wario's Woods. That's a weird game. I don't know. This is just playing around on most of them. Most of them aren't very... I was gonna say most of them aren't very good. That's not true. I think most of them are kind of okay, but a lot of them kind of have this issue of that they were made 30 years ago, so they lack a lot of the refinement and snappiness you would get from a lot of modern puzzle games. My next project after this, I want to make I mean, we'll see how I feel like when I finish this game in like a year, but I want to do a compilation of like falling block style puzzle games, because there's a few I've made and there's a few I've released that, and there's others that I've like had in mind. In Age of Advent, I made one called Begemmed, which is sort of inspired by Bejeweled, but I took it in a different direction. But I've kind of been thinking since like I released it, like ways I could have done that game better. There's like, okay, looking at all the different types of puzzle games out there, ones I've played, feel like there's kind of 3 categories. There's like the ones where, like Tetris and Dr. Mario and stuff like that, where you control the block as it's falling. You control the pieces as they're falling, and you know, try to clear blocks that way. I got a little distracted here. And then there's the ones where you don't really have any control over where the blocks fall. You just they just fall, and then you have to manipulate them after they land. And so there's games like Tetris, Tetris Attack, or I guess Panel de Pon, if you prefer. And Meteos and Wario's Woods. And then there's the ones where you're just like given a screen of blocks and then you have to do stuff with them, and then they just get pretty much instantly filled in once you clear some out. And that's like the Bejeweled type. And like a lot of match 3 puzzle games are like that. I don't really like those kinds, so I don't really like the Begemmed wound up being that kind of game. I was thinking the way I could rework it into, I don't know, something more interesting. I just feel like that game was missing something. So I do that. Long ago I made like a puzzle game that was sort of like Dr. Mario, but it was with chess pieces. And you, the goal, you know, instead of the viruses like in Dr. Mario, you had kings of both colors scattered around, and you would have to place pieces so that you can get all the kings into checkmate. Unfortunately, I greatly overestimated how familiar the average person is with chess. So everyone I got to try to play that game was like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. And even after I explained it to them, they were like, I don't understand what all the pieces do. But that game has, you know, still been on my mind. I feel like I could rework that idea into something more understandable. I also had an idea for a 3D puzzle game. That's like something that's been tried a few times, but it's never really been a great one. Like Alexei Pajitnov tried one he did called Weltress, where it was like Tetris, but you're dropping pieces down the walls of a well. And it was weird and not nearly as fun as Tetris. And there was like Tetrisphere. There's been a few versions of just like literally 3D Tetris. I just none of them really work. But I had an idea for one that I think could be pretty cool. Where you sort of build pyramids out of spheres. I tried to prototype it, but I couldn't, I don't know. I didn't put a whole lot of time into it, and in the time I put into it, I couldn't get the balls dropping just right the way I wanted them to, so I sort of shelved that one for a bit. And then what else? There were 4 that I wanted to include. Yeah, the 4th one was like the least developed idea, where it's just like, I thought it would be cool to have a Tetris style game where instead of instead of trying to clear lines, you're trying to create a loop of the same color. So like there will be black blocks and white blocks, and you have to like make a loop. And then yeah, and then it clears all the pieces inside the loop, and then like the bigger the loop, the bigger the score. And then I thought it would be interesting to build on that. Like, I had this idea of maybe the entire board like has two sides, and every time you drop a piece, it flips over. So you can make like a huge loop that goes on both sides of the board. I don't know. It probably doesn't make any sense until I actually make it and show it. But yeah, that's kind of like what I want to do for my next project, maybe. A collection of puzzle games, and do them all like with a kind of very stylistic visual flair and Tetris Effect and Luminous Arise, but like each style can be used in all 4 games. Maybe have a mode where you have to play through and like you have to swap between the 4 games on the go, like a Puyo Puyo Tetris kind of thing. I don't know. But I need to finish this before I can make that. Also, that is kind of, probably a vanity project, because it's probably, there's not much of a market for those kinds of puzzle games these days, so. Just gotta sell 10 million copies of this game, and then I'll be able to make everything. Or just 1 million. I got 4 of them, just one more. What else is going on? I saw some, I don't know how widespread this is, but I saw like some arguments about, or not arguments, but second. Press over here. There we go. Like Mario Kart World, I don't know why that's like, that game has upset so many people. And it's this whole thing where, you know, when Sonic Cross Worlds came out, there was this, Mario Kart World is dead, haha. And now Kirby is out. It's kind of the same thing. Kirby killed Mario Kart, and it's like, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like getting 3 really good kart racers in the same year. Like, this is a genre that is mostly dead outside of Mario Kart. So, and Mario Kart has been the same game for the last decade. So it's cool that we got a new Mario Kart and two also very good other kart racers, and all three games like deliver a different experience. You know, if you... Mario Kart World tried something different with the open world thing, and that didn't land with a lot of people, and that's fine. I really dug the open world. I really liked just driving around and listening to the music and doing challenges when I saw them. It's just I found it to be a really chill time. And my biggest complaint with the game is that there just aren't more challenges. But yeah, if you want like a more traditional kart racing experience, I definitely understand why that game didn't land, and it definitely had some issues. I wish they had done things better. But I think it's great that, like, if the things Mario Kart World tried to do didn't land with you, yeah, you got Sonic Cross Worlds to just... You got a more traditional kart racer to check out. I think that's pretty awesome. And then at the same time, we got Kirby Air Riders as just like this very chaotic third option. It occurred to me that Kirby Air Riders kind of, like, talking about the next Smash, Kirby Air Riders kind of changes the conversation about which Kirby characters are most likely, because I think everyone kind of assumed Bandana D was the most likely option if Kirby got a fourth representative. But I feel like Air Riders has kind of introduced some other alternatives. Like the popularity of Rick makes him a good option, and to a lesser extent Gooey. I would prefer Gooey, but Rick is cool too. But it occurred to me that, like, Noir DDD is just... Sakurai just created that character to put in Smash, didn't he? Just so that he can have, like... Sakurai loves his edgy mirror characters. Like he gave Kirby Meta Knight, and Meta Knight is just his baby. He loves Meta Knight. And he created Dark Pit and then put Dark Pit in Smash. So now DDD has a dark... DDD has a Meta Knight created by Sakurai himself. It's like, oh yeah. Like, all these other possibilities for Kirby characters in Smash, you know. Bandana D, Rick, Gooey, Marks. We're just getting more DDD. Right. Maybe that's just a he created that character specifically to put in Smash. Do I want to do this room? I don't know if I want to. I think I might fall asleep if I do this room, because this room is just like hypnosis. I guess I should do it to be thorough. There's a funny thing that I was thinking about, is that, like, if I were playing this game, just, like, casually, like I didn't make it, I would probably be, like, throwing on a podcast. Or, I mean, even if I was, like, just playing it casually and I hadn't made it, and I wasn't streaming it, I'd probably have like a podcast or a stream or something to listen to. Like, this is a very podcast game. That's what I do when I play Power Wash Simulator. I'm like, throw on a podcast or a YouTube video and listen to that in the background. Because I'm streaming it, it's like, okay, well, I gotta make my own podcast. This has been very interesting, the, like, having to talk while I'm playing this. I feel like I'm getting better at talking while playing. It was very hard at first. And also just like thinking of things to say. Like, I was mostly silent the first couple of streams, except when people showed up. I was getting used to all this, like, talking to myself. Honestly, it's fine. 'Cause it's like, you know, when I like talking. I like talking to people in real life, but the problem with talking to people in real life is, like, they also have to participate in the conversation. So you have to worry about, like, oh no, am I talking too much? Are they getting annoyed? Am I rambling about stuff? Are they bored with this conversation? And here it's just like I'm just talking into the void. I don't need to worry about that. I can ramble about my autistic special interests as much as I want, and nobody can do anything about it because nobody is watching. But also, I'm not talking to myself. See, I'm streaming. So like I'm not a crazy person talking to myself. I'm just making content. That's the ticket. Making content. Halfway done with this room. I do also talk to myself, though. So maybe I am a crazy person. Because, like, sometimes I have a thought. And the thought can't stay inside my head. It has to go out into the world. I guess this room isn't like as big. Like, this room I made fairly early on, so I think there's only about 2,000 buttons in this room. Whereas some of the other rooms I've been doing approach or even exceed 3,000. So, like at the beginning of development, this one seemed like a huge undertaking. Like it would be a huge undertaking to complete, but now that I've done like much more complex rooms, this doesn't seem too bad. I was just saying, yeah, I'm getting better at coming up with things to talk about, and then I immediately am struggling to come up with things to talk about. I mean, like I said, it's this room, man. This room is hypnotic. we're actually pretty close to the end. You do a 4D falling block puzzle game. That would just 4D multiversal Tetris with time travel or whatever. I have no idea how that would work. It would probably be unplayable. It would be cool if you could come up with that concept and make it playable, though. Oh god, like, my head is spinning a little bit. Like, I am looking at this door and it's spinning the other way. Alright, is this gonna be it? Wow, that's a very... hypnotic. What's over here? Is this the room I think it is? Yes. I did this room. What's in here? I do this. I did this. I did this. Did this. Okay. I guess one thing I am starting to think is that once there's like almost 500 almost 500 rooms. It may get difficult to find rooms you haven't done yet. So I don't want to have like a map. I intentionally don't want to have a map. Oh, here we go. But I do think I need to come up with some way to help the player find a room that they haven't done yet. I'll see if I can come up with something. Maybe I'll have a room that's like you walk through a door and it will teleport you to a room you haven't finished yet. Like it'll just find a room with unclicked buttons and that door will go spit you out in that room. But I am kind of thinking like I don't know. That's an interesting idea, but I'll have to think about how it would actually work. I'm going for an hour. I was also reluctant to increase the walking speed. That is a comment that I've gotten a number of times. But maybe I'll, I don't know, have something. Something to make you go a little bit faster. Like I said, I want the game to be a little annoying, but not like frustrating. There is a difference between the tedium of me coming into this room and clicking every single button and me like holding forward until I can find this room. I'm not sure how to explain the difference in that. Like, I guess the difference is that this feels like I'm making progress. I'm doing something. Just walking slowly doesn't feel like I'm doing something. So I thought thought like the relatively slow walking speed could be like part of the joke, but maybe not. But yeah, that is kind of the point of this test. Both to make sure it is technically sound and to see like if my design decisions actually work. We're at almost 90,000. Alright. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm feeling a full day today. Full day. I'm going to doing my 8-hour shift at the button clicking factory. I'm trying to do a couple hours a day, but the other thing is, I definitely think I need to do something like I wish I had a button I could press to select a new button, a new correct button. Like, I think that would be a good, I mean, just not even talking about, like, how I think other people would experience it, but the way I'm experiencing it is, like, I want to continue clicking the buttons. I mean, I have to continue clicking the buttons. But I also want to. But also there would be more... It would be more interesting if there was a new button. Like, it is less exciting to click the buttons when there isn't a possibility that it might not be the button. It is still satisfying to click them, but I think maintaining that excitement would be good. So that is something I will probably do. 90,000. Okay, I might. Yeah, finish this room, call it. I'm kind of falling asleep a little bit. Yay. Okay. Let's see. $90,000. What is this? Nope, done this room. It's another one. Okay. Alright, this is a good room to start on next time. Yeah, I'll call it here.